is a brilliant collision with a tragic interference of betrayal. By the maestro, the icon.
We need a safe word.
My safe word is going to be nigga. I'm going to go ahead and just throw that out there.
We're canceled immediately.
We need a safe word for the safe word.
We need a safe word from somebody else besides you then.
All right. Y'all want to choose a safe word?
I found one that I like. Hold up.
You found a safe word?
Listen,
You don't ever have one ready to go?
Well, I wanted something,
Avokashis.
on the theme.
Avocado.
Piffle.
What
You
is
can
it?
use this when someone is speaking nonsense. Piffle.
Piffle? Piffle's an English word right there. That's an English word, yeah.
Pitful? Pitful?
Piffle is like drivel, but it's worse than drivel.
I don't
Drivel
know
is
what
crap,
drivel means.
but drivel it's in the same family as piffle.
Oh.
What is a
There you
drivel?
go. Drivel is when you're talking shit.
Oh, that's
That
dribbling
is
on
drivel.
you.
It sounds like
dribbling on
dribbling.
Well, it's kind of
I
you're
dribble
like that.
all
You're
over
like
you.
this is pure drivel, Mac. You're
But
like
drivel
right,
with the
think
right
that's it,
accent.
yeah.
Like, I like how
Something-
you say it with your
something
accent, because
really
now it
big.
sounds real
Something
classy.
punchier?
Yeah.
Well, Australian accent's never been called classy, mate. Or classy. I'm sorry, classy.
Classy.
All right, what about mollycoddle? This word,
Absolutely. What is that?
mollycoddle.
Are these real words, or they
you-
made up?
I know that Molly Cole is
She's just
legit
put it
too.
to-
I know exactly what you're
It's
talking
British?
about. Molly Cole is
British
British
people
as
have all
well.
the good words.
So you're basically just saying we don't know English at all?
I know. What have I been talking?
What does it mean, Dan?
What does mollycoddle mean? Mollycoddle means it's something that is mixed up. It's a put together kind of thing.
I like it. Let's go with it.
Let's go.
Mollycoddle.
Mollycoddle?
Mollycoddle.
Mollycoddle. Coddle with a double D.
Mollycoddle.
All right.
There you go.
Mollycoddle.
It's a mix of things.
Well, I won't be saying the safe word, because I'm definitely going to forget that.
We all will be saying it, mollycoddle, at some point. And thanks, guys. I'm Mel Binion, and this is Question Everything Explicitly, the podcast. We're doing a little bit of an after show where I got 3 comedians joining me today: Kiki Andersen, Willie Macc, and Dan Green.
Hey.
You know, Dan Green appeared as a panelist on a couple of the episodes too, so we're glad to have him back.
Nice.
Happy to be here, mate.
Oh, yeah. So basically, how this podcast is going to go, it's an improv storytelling podcast where I'll ask each of the guests to tell a story, and our safe word, which I forgot already,
Mollycoddle.
That's it.
will be what we use to stop their story and insert a question to disrupt their story.
Oh,
So plan on using it a lot.
got it. So the more questions we ask, the better.
More questions you ask, the better. Every question I'll clip and probably be on social media, so
So
be ready for it.
are we making up the story? Is there a topic, like on some improv stuff, or you just tell the story?
So basically, all the topics will come from the actual show to begin with. So I believe Kiki will be answering the first topic, which is the first topic on the show was if you had a clone, if a clone watched you all day, what questions would it have for you?
Oh,
So,
I need to think about that.
but yeah. But basically, I want to give y'all a sense of how it goes, and I'll tell a story about my dad again, because he basically is the one who told me how to be a storyteller.
Yeah.
And if you have any questions, just jump right in immediately. And so, like, he calls it storytelling. I call it flat out lying, because he was 5 minutes away from everything. Like, he literally told my mom, like, he was on the Bishop Ford, like 30 minutes away from our house, that he was 5 minutes away.
Yeah.
If he was in this room right now, he'll be the best comedian.
Oh.
If he was playing basketball, like, he taught Michael Jordan how to play.
Naturally.
Well, we have a saying in Australia, mate, never let the truth get in the way of a good yarn. That's exactly how that works, mate.
So yeah, to this day, he literally would tell us that back when I was in 6th grade, I broke his rib cage while we were playing basketball because he refused to say that he ever lost a game to us.
That's fun. Mollycoddle. Did I do that right?
Oh yeah,
Okay,
I like it.
So you snapping on.
No.
Teacher's
I didn't
pet.
expect the
I wanted
question.
to know where's your dad from? Like, what's his name? Like, is he a Southern guy? Because I feel like
Oh,
Southern.
he's
people-
originally from Chicago.
Oh, okay.
He was the firstborn. Our grandma moved from Louisiana when she was 16, when she was pregnant with him. So
Oh, nice.
so back in the
Back in
56.
yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah. So yeah, back when we were growing up, he used to always play basketball with us, and like when we were over at my mom's place, we were playing a 2-on-2. Like it was me against him. The garage was behind me. The back porch was on my left side, and it was like a 30 by 30 foot concrete, thing that we were playing on, and like I thought we were playing basketball, but he was a straight up linebacker. Like he was tackling me into like the porch and everything. It was like, and he just told me, yeah, I never fouled you. So when it came down to it back in high school, like we did the same thing to him. He couldn't call a foul on it because like that's how he taught us to play, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's basically where I got my storytelling from, because my dad used to always lie about everything or storytell about everything.
But did you hit his rib? Like,
I mean, I might have.
so you might have
That's
actually
kinda
have broken
true,
his
then.
rib.
I mean, a 12-year-old breaking an old man's ribs, a 30-year-old's ribs.
You might have been a solid 12-year-old.
I mean, I was, but that's not the point.
Gotcha. I'm from a family that's like that. That tells a lot of stories, and just like my uncle tells a story about how my grandma used to spank him, and this one time, the last time she spanked him, because she used to like stick his head like, and they would go to the bathroom and stick the head in like in the tub, pull it out, and then whoop him.
Oh my God.
And then do it again. Like, but my grandma was something else. Like, she was like beast mode all the time. Like, and it's funny because as they get older, like parents, they don't remember any of the disciplines that they do to you.
Oh no, of course not.
Yep.
Of course not.
Selective
like-
memory.
It's selective memory.
Yeah.
It's like they black
Like they
out
were
and
the
turn
best
someone
dad,
else.
the best mom.
Oh my goodness. So maybe, I don't know. Maybe there's some truth in it. Maybe once the big book is open, once you pass away, and God like, yeah, and you broke your dad's rib when you was 12 years old.
Nope. He's just a liar. I'm just saying that.
I don't know. Maybe lying is a genetic trait. I can't tell if you're lying right now.
Hey, you got me there.
Yeah.
But no, I wasn't lying about that story. But basically, that's how the show is going to go. So it's like, to start off, do you have any questionable story where you think a twin would help you out, or a clone?
I guess I don't know how the twin would have helped me out. It's definitely a questionable story.
We'll start there.
That maybe a twin would have helped out the other party. I don't know.
Oh.
So I guess this is the story of how my friend's family robbed us on vacation.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
hold on. I got a lot of questions. Wait, what's the safe word again?
Mollycoddle.
Mollycoddle. I got it. All right. Go ahead.
Are
You
you
can proceed. Not yet.
mollycoddling me?
I'm not modeling. No. Go ahead.
So I guess I gotta put the backstory here so that you understand who this friend is. We'll call her Sarah to protect the wicked. But Sarah, I met her in middle school, and from the day I met her, she was lying. So I walk in a gym class, and she's crying and crying and crying, and she says, my dad's passed away, and we didn't have a good relationship, and I got a call this morning that he's passed away in the hospital. Terrible story. She leaves, the guidance counselor takes her out, and then like comes and talks to us about like how to be a supportive friend when somebody's grieving. A few months later,
I'm
Sarah...
gonna fail that course.
how to be a good friend. Yeah. Well, I mean, none of us knew how to. It's 7th grade. It's a tragic thing, and like it was very public, and we all felt really bad for her. A couple months later, I'd become friends with Sarah, and she says, "Guess who called me? My dad. And I'm like, that's a long distance call? Isn't he dead? And she said, no, I said I wished he was dead because he was a bad dad. I'm like, that's not what happened. A guidance counselor doesn't come in to talk to the whole class because you wished your dad was dead.
Yeah.
Hey, that's not a bad excuse. My grandma died 3 times while I was in the army. It got me out of 3 days' work. It was great. And the third time they clued onto it, they said, next time she dies, you turn up to work, okay? And I'm like, okay.
Hold on, Molly Carlo. I just like to say that my dad was a good dad.
Yeah.
Before you start any more dad bashing.
No, we love a good storyteller. Sometimes the lie is more interesting than the truth. And that was definitely the case here. It was, I love a good liar. Right? Like, everybody's got to have that one friend that's a compulsive liar. Yeah. And I was kind of joking with you, like, compulsive lying is genetic. But I think it might be based on what happened a few years later. So a few years later, we're in high school. And Sarah's dad actually comes back into her life. And is like, I'm sorry I've been a bad father to you. I want to be better. I'm living in Miami with my new family. Why don't you and your girlfriends come visit for spring break? And so we're like, hell yeah, let's go. Like, this is going to be a joyful thing. Like, we're so excited for Sarah. So at the time, I was the only one with a car, and my car happened to be stick shift. So I drove our asses 17 hours from Maryland to Florida to go see Sarah's family. And she's like, he's got a fat mansion in Miami. We're going to ball out. We all got, like, money that our parents gave us, like, $100, like, not that much money, But we're like, yeah, we're going to go to the beach.
Where's the plane tickets at? Jesus.
No, we were ripping it, but we were excited about it, and we had a lot of Adderall, but that's a different story for another day. So anyway, we drive 17 hours down, and we pull up to the house, and it is a big house.
Yeah.
She didn't say how many people were living in it. It was like a family of like 12 or something. And so we get there, and it's not exactly like a warm greeting. We're like, well, hi, we're so excited to see you. And they're like, hi. And then we're like, okay, well, we're going to go to bed. We've been driving 17 hours. And they're like, there's the floor. We're like,
hell no.
Oh, hell no. Yeah. So I'm like, Sarah, you know what? Like, my mom gave me like $100. Like, I'll get us a hotel or something. Like, we don't have to sleep on the floor. Like, we just drove a very long way for this. And she's like, no, like, I don't want to offend my family. Like, we're trying to, rekindle this love or whatever. So I'm like, all right, man, whatever. The next day, like, usually, at least in my family, like, we're all Latinos, like, when you have guests, you make a feast, you greet them with food. That's how you connect with people. They gave us a piece of toast, not even toasted, and like old hard butter, and was like, there's your breakfast. I was like, am I in prison right now? What is going on?
That's worse than prison food.
Right? I felt like we were being punished. So anyway, we go to the beach, and we're like, I don't know, this is all very uncomfortable, but whatever. Like, it's 4 of us, a group of 4 girls. So we're having a nice time, and we come back, and one of the other girls in the group is like, my money's missing. And so we're like, what? You probably, like, lost it. Like, I'm sure it's there somewhere. Yeah. So she digs in her whole bag, and she's like, no, my money's missing. So then I go in my bag, and my money's missing, and some clothes. And I didn't even have, like, nice clothes back then. Like, these are just, like, regular clothes missing from my bag. And then our other friend, she's like, my money's missing and my credit card. So I lose my mind. I'm like, we've been robbed. Like, we've been robbed in the house that we're staying in with the people that we trusted. And so we go and we confront the family, and we're like, our money's missing. And they're like, oh, it must have been the maid. And we're like, no. And they're like, no, yeah, the maid must have taken it. Oh, my God, we should probably call the police. We've been robbed. I'm like, no, we've been robbed. All of your stuff is still in your house.
Yeah.
And so there's like one room that is locked and one family member that's missing. And so we're like, well, what's her face? And they're like, oh, yeah, she's not here right now. And I'm like, well, let's go in her room. Let's go see if the money's in there. And they're like, we can't, we don't have a key. And so meanwhile, we look it up on the internet, and like the credit card's being used like all over town to buy gas, groceries, just like nonsense,
Holy crap.
And so we're like, we've been robbed. Like, give us back our money. And I said to my friend, I'm like, Sarah, we're leaving right now. Like, I will drive us 17 hours right back to Maryland. We're not staying here anymore. I don't feel safe here.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, okay, we're going to leave. And I'm like, but I don't have any money.
I'm like, you want to leave, but you don't got money.
Yeah. So I have to call up my mom. And, like, we didn't grow up with means at all. So it's like, I know that you gave us, like, this little allowance, but I'm going to need some more because otherwise we're hitchhiking back. And we're leaving the car right here in Florida. And so my mom's like, all right, well, I'll try to wire you some money, but, like, I don't really have anything left to give you. So we have to go to Sarah's grandma, who's this, like, crazy drunk old lady, and be like, hey, remember when your, like, niece robbed us? Do you mind giving us, like, a little of that bag just so we can leave? Like, you can keep the rest, but I just want to go home. So she gave us gas money, and that was that.
Wow.
Went in the cookie jar and got you some gas money from the stolen goods.
Yeah.
Nice.
Now, if that happened to this, like, today, is there ever a moment where you, like, look back and be like, I will whoop her ass and find this money? Like, this is some bullshit.
I should have fucking
So your
plowed in
clone,
the
your
door.
clone should be a stunt double, basically, for your life. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like, we should have, like, double teamed, like, like, ripped down the door, set the house on fire. We should have done a lot more damage.
Would you want your clone to be cooler than you or equally as cool?
I'm pretty cool. I don't know. That's hard. No, definitely cooler. I feel like your clone should say and do all the things that you thought about later, right? But they think about them for you.
Yeah.
See,
I like
I don't need my clone to be cool. I just need my clone to have a job.
Yeah, I think
9 to 5. He's going 9 to 5. And by the way, that clone's going to school at night as well, because that 9 to 5 is not going to do it. He needs to be a lawyer or something like that, because I ain't doing shit.
Yeah.
My clone's doing all the work, and I'm having all the fun.
If your clone
my
becomes too
clone-
successful, then you might end up being your clone's clone. Like,
No,
they're like, "You're
I
the
believe
dad."
I'm my clone's manager at that point, then, mate, and I'm retired.
Yeah, your clone's going to take over for you.
I got it from here, Dan.
Yeah, my clone has to, like, all the time kick ass whenever I need him. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm staying out of trouble.
So your clone
Like-
would be like your bodyguard.
Yeah.
Isn't that Jordan Peele movie where they're tethered? Like, they have the...
What was that movie? Yeah. It
Us.
is Us.
Yeah.
Yeah, their clone was a little off, though.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Just a little off.
If I had a clone, I like how you were saying, like, the clone would be the person to just, like, say the things you really want to say.
Yeah.
Kind of like that Key and Peele sketch where it's like Obama's interpreter. And like, I was like, man, I wish I could. Ooh, clone would be like, hey, I got it from here, Willie. Oh, bitch ass, doop, bop, dop, 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 doop. I'm like, thank you. Go back and sit, and all of that.
But it's like remember the old Michael Keaton movie, Multiplicity, where he clones his first clone. He's like, well, 1 and 2 is great, but if I could go 3, so he makes another clone off the third, and basically he's inbreeding his clones, and they're coming out more and more screwed up. So by the time he gets to the fourth guy can't even put a shoe on, and he's like stuck with this idiot walking around the house just knocking shit over and breaking windows and stuff like that. And he goes, now I got to kill a clone, because this guy's in the way of all the other 3. But yeah, you can get out of control. Now you've got
Is
your
it
own.
murder if you kill your clone?
I don't believe so. I believe you're just decommissioning at that point, I think is the technical term. The one I would use to get myself out of it. I decommissioned this one. I upgraded and downgraded him.
Yeah,
Molly Waddle, I got a question.
Molly Waddle? He's made a new word!
Was it Molly
Molly
Waddle?
Molly Cuddle.
Okay, Molly
I
Waddle.
like Molly Waddle.
I like that one too.
Molly Waddle.
Molly be waddling.
I can just start teaching you guys English slang by the end of this and you'll be all done.
In that situation, which one of if you had a clone with you and the clone was really aggressive, which one of your family members would it go for first?
Which one of my family members?
Yeah, in that.
Or their family members? Like my friends'
Well,
family?
anyone in that Florida mansion.
Oh, man, I don't know, because it was a weird thing where, like, her dad that we were, like, there to see was kind of absent the whole time we were there. Like, he greeted us, and then he was gone. Like, I think they all were in on it together.
Come on, Kiki. You know you're going to take the grandma out first.
Yeah.
That's what you're going
That's
for.
what I was thinking.
I
Get rid
know,
of the
but
easy
she's
one
the only
first.
one that gave me some money back, so we gotta like grandma. I think we gotta kill the ant that disappeared.
Grandma's the one that told her to do it. Like, go get that money from them, sweetie.
That's really messed up. As if y'all were never gonna see that this money was just gone.
Right. I don't know what the end game there was. It's like, we're still in your house.
Yeah. Have you ever had anything stolen?
Yeah.
Yeah. You?
Oh, 100%.
100%.
I'm from Chicago.
How did y'all handle it? Did y'all handle it, or was it just like?
No, I was a kid, and they were like 20-year-olds robbing me at gunpoint. Like, I just had to give up everything.
And you're saying this with a smile, which is very impressive.
I mean, I'm still alive. That's why I'm smiling.
Yeah. Some people can say. I
had my car broke into frequently in my front yard in Houston.
Yeah.
Guy used to go through my change jar every month. He'd come in there and break into my car and go through my change jar in the middle. So the last time he did it, I just put a single shotgun shell in there.
Ooh.
And never got robbed ever again. It worked out
That's
all right.
what's up.
What a message.
What a message.
Right?
Yeah,
That's like
took
the
all the
dead
change
horse
out.
in The Godfather.
Took all the change out, just left a shotgun shell in there. I was like, rightio, you figure that out. Didn't steal it.
Wow.
Have y'all ever robbed someone in a joking way?
What about in a not joking way?
I'm not gonna.
Well,
just in case.
We had the gangsta over here.
It depends, man. In the military, if it's not technically stealing from the government. At that point, it's reappropriating. And you're reappropriating something that they've already got at that point. So you're like, you know what, we're going to reappropriate this over to us.
They didn't need
here.
it. We needed it.
Yeah.
Are you talking like army tanks or pens?
I'm talking in the middle
Food,
between
rations, everything.
in the happy medium between a tank and a pen.
Yeah.
I did steal a grill in Iraq once. That went down. I even stole at the point where I repainted the grill. Some soldiers moved out and they left, and that grill had been chained to this blast wall for like 5 days.
Yeah.
No one had claimed it, and I'm like, well, this is just a grill sitting over. It's like a 55-gallon drum. It's a pretty good-looking grill. It's cut in half, had a hinge and everything on it. It was red, and we're like, well, we're going to grab this. If it's there on day 6, it's ours. And we lived across the street, and we grabbed it, and we repainted it yellow and put a black racing stripe down the middle of it. 2 days later, the next unit comes in. They're like, yeah, man, we're looking for this red grill. I'm like, nah, mate, we haven't got any red grills, just this yellow one over here. You can still smell the paint on the yellow, mate. And you're like, he's looking at us going, really? And we're like, yeah, man. Great grill, this one. You need to get one just like this. It works good, mate.
I don't know. You got an Australian accent, but that's the most American thing I've ever heard.
Stealing a grill?
Stealing a
Military stealing a grill.
We stole mattresses in Iraq. I stole mattresses from a shipping container we found in the middle of nowhere. I got called out. They said, we found a shipping container. No one knows who owns it. It's full of mattresses. I'm there with my work crew. I said, right, we're gonna up our inventory. I said, put them in the back of the truck. We don't tie them down. We don't have any rope. Here's an extension cord. Just tie them down. We're driving through the middle of the base. It just look like we're meant to be doing this. And it's a pickup truck with 14 mattresses tucked in the back, tied down with an extension cord. I'm like, yeah, this is how we transport this. This is cool. We'll just hide this in the back.
Now, with a clone, would you have had your clone help?
You like, have to start using that safe word so I can remember it.
Molly
Mollycoddle, mate.
Mollycoddle.
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 It's a mollycoddle, mate.
Mollycoddle.
Mm-hmm.
Would your clone be a yes man, or would your clone ever just like, nah, I ain't doing that?
The yes man. Well,
Like
are you saying would your clone have the ability to tell you to piss off? No, I'm in charge of this team. I'm the captain of this boat. I'm running the show. The clone can have the ability to come up with an idea, but to execute that idea, it's got to go through the head chef.
The mastermind.
Yeah.
Is your clone better looking than you or uglier
Mollycoddle.
than you? Mollycoddle. Is your clone better looking or uglier? Like, do you want somebody that is like you but the better version of you?
Kiki, I played 20 years of rugby. The source material here, it can only get better at this point, okay? So I've been smacked in the head enough that I'm going to have to do the guy a little bit of a favour and go, right, we'll just straighten stuff up and we'll work from there.
But what if he like steals your girl or something?
Well, he doesn't get a cool accent. That's how it works out. So you've got to level this guy out a little bit. Got to keep him grounded.
Yeah, the clone doesn't speak at all.
Yeah, I like that. That's
like you're
funny.
just there to do stuff.
No, he's got some backwoods Texan accent or something like that. Just a little bit funky. And you're like, okay, you can have that.
Are we playing this game right?
Probably not, but we're figuring it out on the way as we go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I feel bad. I feel like maybe my story didn't lend to the.
No, it did.
It
Okay.
did.
We built this entire thing still so far based off that story, but I don't know if we're doing it right. I'm just like,
Well, it's the first time for everything, so.
oh, this is the first episode.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, this is the first time you did this. Oh,
Oh,
okay.
yeah, so trying to figure out as it goes.
Oh, you making up rules at this point.
Oh yeah.
Got it. I've
Yeah, what was it? Mollycoddle?
Mollycoddle.
Yeah. We'll take a quick break for our sponsors, which is just me.
I said the sponsors just help.
Hey man, everybody's got to start somewhere, man. Don't worry,
yeah.
you'll have one soon.
Yeah. So we're back, and we need another safe word. So let's start fresh here.
I got one.
You got one?
We'll go with didgeridoo. How does that sound?
Didgeridoo. I know that.
Didgeridoo.
Good luck spelling it, but everybody knows it.
But what does
That's
it
a
mean?
lot of I's and a lot of D's. It's an instrument.
It's an instrument?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like a really long instrument.
Yeah, it sounds like this. It sounds like
It's-
a
I've
It only
heard
makes
of.
one noise.
Yeah.
Yeah, you play it by blowing out your nose and blowing out your mouth at the same time.
Really?
Try that. Yeah, it's not easy.
My God, why did someone create that?
And they're good at it, dude. I can't do it. You got to. Yeah, it's all.
Have you
it's all-
tried it?
I've tried, and it's about. It doesn't happen very well for me.
My dad's a pastor, so he has this, and not because he's a pastor, he has this, but he has a ram's horn. So like sometimes because I guess there was scriptures in the Bible where certain priests use ram's horn. So he would play this during service. He'd be like, yeah, and then, and I tried it. Those things are impossible to play. It's not even a thing to play. It's just you just blowing these things and just.
Oh yeah.
Will you be pushing shit
Yeah, I think
uphill with a
didgeridoos
didgeridoo?
are just to like scare the animals in Australia. That's all it's for.
They're all vibes. They're
Yeah.
for when you're frying on acid.
Oh, where they use them out in the outback, they travel.
get your
The
sunnies
sound
out.
just.
Oh yeah, next time you high.
Like it's just to scare off the animals. That's all they want.
It scares off everything.
But yeah,
We're hating on Dan's culture.
didgeridoo works for me.
Didgeridoo.
Works for y'all. Safe word for the next story.
Yeah.
And it comes from topic 3 on episode 1, where a officer, has to find another job, a second job. So I want to see what he would do moonlighting in the comedy world. Like say for instance, if Keon was down a comedian during Chocolate Sundae,
Yeah.
and he was sitting outside. Are you at the door at the time, Dan?
Not on Sundays, mate.
Okay. But both of you, Dan and Willie, you both happen to be there too,
Yeah.
and you just performed.
Just perform.
What advice are you giving to him, like before he gets on stage?
Well, personally, I just performed, so I want to know, why did this cop get to perform? Did this cop just
Someone
'cause-
didn't show up.
Well, the thing about Chocolate Sundae, there's like 100 comics that's there. So first I'm like, why did he pick you? Like, why did he pick you, police officer, who wants to try stand-up at not just one of the premier comedy clubs in LA, but also over all these other comedians whose sole purpose is to be here? Maybe he's funny. Maybe it's just a prank. Maybe because I've brought people on stage before who was like, I just want to try it. I'm like, all right, come on up here. man."
Didgeridoo. I think he has some dirt. What do you reckon? He maybe has some dirt on him? What do you think?
Now, I'm definitely thinking he has some dirt on Keon, or Keon's building in the favors. Like, hey, this is my get out of jail free. I got a ticket, help me out, because I remember that time when I put you up on stage, type of thing.
Oh yeah.
So Keon might be going up. He's like, hey, Willie, this cop's next. Can you just give him some advice?
Yeah.
Now, I'm using this as my get out of jail free thing too. So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna steer him wrong.
Didgeridoo. How are you going to prepare him to set up for his routine?
I would tell him to tell everybody that he's a cop first. Now, that's going to be very tricky because Chocolate Sundays is the black night at the Laugh Factory. So people will either be like, fuck him, or they're just going to be like, all right, let's see where this is going. Because
So you setting them up for failure?
now, okay, let me ask this.
Did you bust him out? Did you say, is this a white cop or a black cop?
Now
that's
I was
the
on
next
didgeridoo.
question.
I was on didgeridoo myself and
Yeah.
asked myself that. So those are two different cops.
So the cop is portrayed by Kevin Caliber on the front of the book cover. So
So this man
we're assuming
is
the guy is
beautiful.
white.
Okay, so you
Yeah.
can't
He's ripped.
you can't get on stage and do
And he can
Denzel's
beat up-
speech from Training Day.
Can't do didgeridoo.
I'm putting cases on all of you. No, can't do that.
Gotcha.
And didgeridoo, and he lift weights. He won first place at Muscle Beach every year.
So he's a ripped
So-
white cop at Chocolate Sundae.
So he's going to tell you he's a cop, and if somebody get on stage, it's over for them.
oh, he's gonna tell them.
I don't know. You just said he's going to tell you he's a cop.
So I would tell him, hey, don't tell them that you're a cop at all. You have too many things to talk about. I don't know. I would talk about why'd you become a cop. I would tell them, like, go up there and ask and tell them why you became a cop. Tell them maybe you wanted to be a dirty cop. We all love a good dirty cop story. Like, have you seen some dirt? Give us some stuff that they don't want you to talk about, or even make a joke about stuff that you know could possibly help us. Can we get out of parking tickets? Is there something to say? What's the craziest story that you have of somebody that tried to get out of a ticket? Or what's the craziest arrest? Because every cop has a crazy arrest story.
He better be funny though, because he's gonna get lit up by that crowd in the first 30 seconds if he
my
ain't.
goodness. Yeah. Oh, easily gonna get lit up. Easily gonna get lit up. But at the end of the day, tell them just to have fun. Because all comedy is we're all lying about something. Whether there's like a hint of truth in it, or maybe it's mainly truth, and there's some stuff that we kind of exaggerate to do whatever on. I'd be like, tell them that. Maybe you became a cop because you wanted to be the one good cop, but nobody wants to hear about the one good cop. That shit boring as hell. I want to hear some dirt. Tell me about the time you found 10 kilos of cocaine in a trunk. You decided to only report 8 of them. Like, now you're gonna win the crowd over.
That's like my favorite show, The Shield. I watch that show every year.
Oh, The Shield. I actually booked The Shield and wasn't able to do it because I ended up going to the hospital the day that I was supposed to be filming. And
Didgeridoo, are you good? You all right?
this was a
Did
long
that cop run into you? Did you?
Yeah. It was what was his name? Colin.
Didgeridoo, were you playing a cop? Just kidding.
You know I wasn't playing no cop.
Didgeridoo, would you play a cop?
I would
Not on that show.
not on that show. There's a couple roles I refuse to do. I refuse to play a slave. I'm not going to be out there. I won't do that. I don't have the gulls to do that. And it's funny because my agent actually wanted me. There's this Marvel project that's coming out, and it was like a gay role. And now I don't have a problem with it, but I'm like, I don't want to do it. But he kept on trying to make me like, but it's gonna be this, that. I'm like, I get it. But I don't know how to kiss a man and be like
Okay with it?
and be serious about it. Like, I'm either gonna laugh or I'm gonna be like, they're like, nah, Willie, you gotta go in on it. I'm like, I can't do it. But as a cop, I could do a cop. But I would prefer to play a dirty cop. I want to be a dirty cop.
I could see you getting cast as a clean cop. It'd be coming. This is Officer Mac. It's on his first day on the force. You'd be dead by the end of the episode.
I want to be in police academy.
First guy in the door, boom, where's a shotgun? You're like, oh, well, that was Officer Mac. Oh, goddamn. All right, now let's go steal some more cocaine on this episode of The Shield.
Dan showed me how to shoot a triple barrel shotgun when we
I
was
saw
in
that.
Houston.
What?
Man, this thing
He
made
did so horribly, and then Dan just, I'll let you tell
Oh,
the story.
no, he did good. He was actually aiming at the right thing. He was trying not to kill the
No,
hostage.
he aimed really well, but then after seeing what you did after that,
Dan was a beast down there. So in Houston, Dan puts together these dope shows in Houston. And one of the activities that he planned for us was to go to a shooting range. That place that I guess you used to work there.
I sold guns there for 2 years.
Oh, you were a fixer for then? All right. Okay.
Well, I had to have a day job too, and my day job was selling guns. I used to sell champagne in nightclubs, and then I rolled that over into guns because if you've got $5,000 for champagne, you've got $5,000 for guns.
Oh no!
Damn, Dan, you live a lot of life.
A lot of lives. Dan got stories. I can't wait to hear his. But so if I were a cop, I wouldn't be like the dirty cop where I'm trying to be like taking advantage of everybody. But I would not, those people that be like, hey, we found all these pounds of cocaine, or we found $5 million of dirty money. Some of that is going missing. I'm telling you now. Because all they're going to do is
100%.
burn it. You tell me they're just going to burn all this? One of my favorite stories was when I saw they found like 100 tons of like marijuana. I forgot how many tons of marijuana. And they went to this field and they burnt this marijuana. They said the next town over, everybody was high.
I think I remember that. Yeah.
The wind blew the marijuana smoke, and everybody in this town was just high as a kite.
Damn, everybody's calling out that day. Uber Eats is having their best day.
With the cash, though, when you're stealing the cash, man, you've got to make sure you steal the right denomination as well, though. If you find $5 million, you got to take $1 million clean. Because if you suddenly go, oh, we're just going to take $400,000 for the cops that are here, and then they go, well, we found 4.6.
Yeah.
That's a weird number to find at a crime scene. Someone got pretty exact on that. You're like, no.
So if you all are listening to this, this is
take
how
the
you
lot.
how you steal the right amount of
Allegedly.
money. Allegedly.
Make sure you steal in full denominations. That way no one looks.
At the end of the day, though, I would tell the cop how to do a good job because that's a reflection on all of us. And we don't want to have a bad experience at a comedy club because then those people might not want to come to a comedy club again. So
Not everything's a bad experience. Didgeridoo. What if you told them, like, just throw out a racial slur?
Oh, that's what's up. I would never.
You would have set them up?
How's that not a bad experience? That's a really bad. You telling me to tell this?
Someone would live to talk about they will be talking about it for a while, so it'll create a buzz a little bit.
I don't know.
These
Especially
days-
at the Laugh Factory.
Didgeridoo right here, okay? I'm assuming this is a cop you like. Because
Yeah, he's been giving good advice.
Because here's the thing. If it's a cop you don't like, we all can agree right here. There is nothing better than watching blood in the water on stage. When you see someone you don't like about to eat a dick on stage hard.
True.
Yeah.
You're like, you know what? You look in the back of the room of a comedy club when someone's bombing hard who was unlikable before they walked up, and there are 7 people in the back row, all comics just sitting there like this going, check this out.
Also true. But
Yes.
to that whole thing, this is a cop. So now I screwed it. If I purposely screw this cop over, I feel
favors.
like he's
It comes
coming
back to favors.
after me.
It's back to favors. It's pay to play with Willie Macc. That's what it is. That's how it works.
Yeah, naturally.
That's how it works, folks. Just leverage. That's all you need with Willie Macc for stage time here. Is just
But at
leverage.
the same time, I'm scared that he might because I'm probably high. I'm high most times. I'm at the Laugh Factory.
Probably.
Yeah. So all he has to do is follow behind my Camaro or tell somebody to follow behind my car and just be like, whoop whoop. And I'm like, what? And it's like, such and such told me to probably follow you. Come up. So that's the only reason I would do it, though. Just because I would love to see him eat a bag of dicks. Like I would love for somebody else to have gave him bad advice that's probably a little bit more sober than I'm usually.
Okay.
So,
Well,
but yeah.
didgeridoo. How about let's get some bad advice from Dan?
Oh, bad advice. Well,
He's on stage bombing already.
if I was going to give him advice before he walked up, I'd have told him to change the way he dresses. Because
yeah.
cops dress like cops. Okay, and that's how you got to convince them you're not a cop to start with. And cops wear the same boots they wore to work with their jeans. Because they're too cheap to buy. No cop is a sneakerhead. All right, cops don't spend money on dumb shit.
Yeah.
Cops barely make enough money to support the family they've got. They're not going to go and be like, you know what, I'm dropping money on fucking 9 different pairs of sneakers this week. They're not. I'm going to match my hoodie and my sneakers. That's how you do. That's a comic move right there. But so that's the start. That's the start right there. Is to just get that.
I'm doing the same. Black on
Damn
black.
right. And it's the thing. I mean, yeah, that's purely a comic thing. Cops are going to be wearing their work boots with their work boots, or something similar with a pair of jeans, something sensible, some Skechers, or something like that's coming down the pipe. Okay, so you're going to be like, rightio, man, look the part. Okay, you can fake it till you make it out here for a second. All right, and I'm giving bad advice, right? So that'd be the good advice I would have given. The bad advice, the bad advice I'd have given. Oh, bad advice. You know what? Blame the crowd. I said, you know, if they're not laughing, mate, it's the low energy in the room. It's not you. It's the low energy in the room. The
It's
complete
100%
opposite.
their fault.
Oh yeah, don't worry. Whenever you see someone fall on that crutch on stage and they sit there and go, "Oh, you guys just aren't getting the energy in here. The energy's wrong." No, the energy's wrong because you fucked it up when you walked on stage. I mean, everybody gets that starting point where you start, and it's all pretty similar where you start, hot room or not. But you can turn it real quick. And the first time I saw a booker who I respect a lot, and a comic did that on stage in an audition, and basically went, "Oh well, this is a low energy room then," and he just started checking emails. This guy wasn't even watching this guy anymore, and I'm like, wow. And I walked up to him afterwards. I said, "What'd you think of him?" He goes, fuck that guy. He said that's the laziest thing in the world. He said, "You lost the room, get them back." Yeah. And you ain't getting them back. I run an open mic at the Laugh Factory, and I see a lot of people who are doing their first set come up.
Oh yeah.
There's some over supportive spouses are the problem, I believe, in this industry. Because there are people that think they're legitimately funny, and then they get up there and just realize it's a vacuum and it's not. And you're like, oh yeah, that's not material at all. You were
funny at your dinner table.
You were funny at dinner. That's
Yeah.
the thing. You were funny at dinner, and your wife said, "You know what, honey, you should do stand-up. That's amazing." No. Stay home.
Didgeridoo. Do you think cops can be funny?
Yes, definitely. I've been in some...
Every time. Well, I'm not going to say that at all. You can go ahead.
I've seen some cops do some funny shit before in my previous jobs. I saw a cop get pulled over for DUI one night, and I thought we were all going to jail. He's driving the car. We've got 2 beers in the center console. He's hammered. I'm drunk as hell, and he's doing 90 and a 45. We get pulled over, and as soon as he sees the lights behind him, he's like, "Oh, okay." And I'm freaking out. I'm going, "What are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going to do?" And I may or may not have drugs in my pocket at the time.
Definitely do.
Possibility. And I'm freaking out. And he suddenly pulls out his Glock, which is tucked in the back, which I hadn't even seen, pulls that out, puts that underneath his thighs so the barrel, the back end of the gun is pointing out. Cop walks up and he goes, "You know why I'm stopping you, aren't you?" And he hands him his cop ID and says, "Officer so-and-so, Houston Police Department, how you doing? My Glock's underneath my leg. You can see it right there. Just on the way home." Hammered. And then the cop's like, "Oh," didn't even go back to the car, just took one look at the ID and goes, "Yeah, you have a good night, mate." And off we go. And he peeled out of there. And I mean, left rubber on the road and went back to doing 90 and a 45. That's one of the funniest things I've ever seen a cop do. I was like, I looked at him, I said, "You good?" He goes, "Oh yeah, we'll get home fast. We're good. And that's how they roll, mate. It was nuts. But that's how they used to roll. They don't roll like that anymore.
I gotta say, they probably have to deal with some dumb shit. I mean, like, obviously, I'm not pro cop at all, but man,
100%.
they're probably like, "Oh, I don't want to answer this call." Like,
All the time.
All the time.
All the time. My dad was a cop for 35 years, and my dad, there used to be a town drunk in my town, a little town. And my dad would get the town drunk on the way home, and he'd be in the middle of the road yelling at people and stuff like that. He'd have his bowl of whiskey in his hand, and my dad would turn the engine off and roll down the hill behind him with the lights off. And then just as he gets about 5 feet behind the guy, woo, 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 fucking liquor and shit everywhere. I'm like, "You having fun with that?"
Digitally.
Digitally.
One of my favorite stories that Dan was telling me earlier, though, was when you first moved out here and you saw the homeless guy that was shitting next to the cop car with the cops in it.
oh my God.
On Sunset Boulevard, the guy's behind the trunk level in the back. hand resting on the trunk to hold himself up. 2 cops are eating lunch in their cruiser, and he's taking a squat and dropping a deuce behind the car on Sunset. And I'm driving past in an Uber just going, fucking LA, man. This is awesome.
Welcome to LA.
Welcome to LA.
So the cops had no idea?
No idea. They're eating lunch.
So funny.
The cops are in the front seat eating fucking In-N-Out. They got no idea there's a guy in the back, and then
Oh,
he's
it's
just
over there too.
yeah. Then he's just trail up and just walks off, and
That's so crazy.
unbelievable.
That's 100% why I live on the West Side, because I don't want to deal with
The West Side is worse.
Santa Monica and Venice is, but not Marina Del Rey.
Okay. Gotcha. Oh, yeah, we have to be specific on where the West
yeah,
Side is.
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
Venice Beach, they're
Yeah.
shitting right now
Yeah.
together.
I had a homeless guy walk past me on Sunset the other day, and he's screaming at people randomly.
Yeah.
No shirt on, screaming at people randomly, and he walks up to me and he yells at me. He says something psycho to me, and I just looked at him and said, "You're not even the craziest thing I'm going to see in the next 20 minutes. Piss off." And I stunned him. He just stopped, and he was like, and just walks off, and I'm like, "Oh, there you go. See, look, call your bluff. If you're crazy, man. I saw a naked dude here 10 minutes ago. Just walked straight past me."
Yeah. The thing about the homeless people out here, though, is like there's a couple different, like we all know I guess the quote unquote crazies, whatever. Or I don't say crazy, the ones that have mental illness.
You can say crazy.
But
We just
then
talked
there's-
about a guy popping a dump behind a cop car. You can say
No,
crazy.
he falls under that one. But then there's
Just
some
wanna
people that
beep out
just don't
everything.
have much. Like I remember when I was homeless, and that shit was awful. But it was interesting because there's actually a lot of very attractive homeless people.
Yeah, they're like ex-actors.
Yeah.
They all wanted to be actors. They moved to
Yeah,
LA.
but now here's the thing, dude. I did the car thing myself. I did the car homeless thing myself. It ruins your Tinder game, though, man. Because when you get the girl back to your car, and she thinks, "Okay, now where are we going?" And they're like, "Oh no, we're already there."
No,
And that's the end of that. That's a one-shot deal. That's the end of that. And you're like, "Oh well, okay. You live in your car."
Like, honey, we're home.
Yeah.
when I fell under those
I'm gonna leave.
situations, I always had enough money to get a hotel room. So I would be like, they'd be like, "Hey, so where we going?" I'd be like, "Oh,
I'm in town.
I'm in town. I got
business.
I got a hotel though," and I'd be like, get a little room real quick. So LA would do that to you.
It's brought to you by Hotwire.com.
No, he's the only
Looking for a
sponsor that
hotel
we have.
Yeah, I'm beeping
Mail's
out that
podcast,
Hotwire.
sponsored by Mail. Like, is that a sponsorship or is it just your podcast?
We had this homeless guy outside of my house for a while, and he was real funny. I feel like obviously I don't judge. Whatever happened to you, happened to you. But he was kind of a dick because, like, I noticed that he was always asking the men for money, and he was always asking me for a sandwich. And I'm like,
That's
I feel like you don't think women have money or something. Why are you asking me for money?
But did you ever give him a sandwich?
Yeah, of course.
I can tell you the funniest thing I've ever seen a cop do. I had a cop buddy of mine who was a dog handler, and he's a military police dog handler. Military police count as cops?
Yeah, for this story.
Yes.
Yeah, military police dog, and we went through boot camp together. And in boot camp, we knew he was going to military police dog handling. So I used to give this guy shit. I would tell him he's going to have to jack his dog off
Oh, that's what's
to
up.
be friends with it in dog camp or whatever the fuck they call it, where he's in and up in dog camp. And he took it personally. The whole time I ragged this guy the whole time. And about 2 years later, we run into each other randomly in a pub or something like that. And he's like, cool. He goes, I've got to give this demonstration to some kindergarten kids. I need a bad guy for my kindergarten class. Do you want to be the bad guy and take on my dog? And I'm like, I'm going to beat the shit out of your dog. I'm going to go head to head with a German Shepherd. And I'm going to school this thing. He said, yeah, I want to do this. There's no problem at all. I get to the school. All right. The dog's name is Please. He called his dog Please because he thought it'd be funny. Because when he calls the dog, he goes, come here, come here, come here, come here. The dog doesn't move, and then he goes, please, and it runs right up. Okay,
not funny.
it is kind of funny. Okay, so I get there, and the dog's being all lovey with the kids are patting it, and all that kind of thing. I didn't think that happened with German Shepherds, but they're 6-year-olds, and they're patting the dog and all that. Soon as I grabbed the suit, the dog turned around and looked at me and went, "Rrrr." I haven't even put the thing on yet, and the thing's already arcing up on me. I'm like, oh no.
Oh, yeah.
So I get ready, I put the thing on. What I didn't know was that he'd taken half the padding out of the arms. Oh yeah. He's taken half the pad. I've never put a suit on before. I just looked pumped. I felt like the Michelin Man. I said, this is cool.
Yeah.
He goes, run. And I'm like, cool. And I take off. And he goes, turn. And I turn around. And this thing hits me like a freight train in front of all these kids. The kids are like right over there. I timed it so I get hit right in front of the kids. This dog is dribbling all over me, going, and then just launches into my arm.
Oof.
And I'm like, I can feel the thing biting into my arm. I'm like, oh my God, this thing's biting me. He goes, I know it's biting you. I told it to bite you. And I said, get the dog off. Get your dog off. Get your fucking dog off, mate. Get the fucking... The teacher's yelling out, earmuffs, earmuffs. All the kids are laughing. I'm getting mauled by a dog. And he turns around and says to the kindergarten kids, what's the magic word? And the kindergarten kids say, you got to say, please. I'm sitting there getting my arm mauled apart. That's the funniest thing I've ever seen a cop do, because he sat there and let me get eaten for about 2 minutes by this dog before he even said please.
All right,
That was a safe word.
All right. And any of you can answer this. We all know that cops have tons of great stories they can share on stage. How does he end his set?
I got an answer.
Yeah.
He's a prop comic. So he does
That's funny. I think he would end this set by saying, all right, y'all, get home safe or else I'll see you all again soon.
Ooh, how would he
I
end
would
his
say
set?
I can't wait to arrest one of you on the way home.
Lose the whole audience.
I think to come out on top of an audience like that, he'd have to give people a hack. He'd have to give people a hack to get out of shit.
Ooh.
And that would be the way to get out of it.
I like that.
Like cops have a thing called friendly wreckers. You ever heard the term friendly wrecker before?
No.
Okay. When you call a tow truck, how much does it cost?
Like 100 some?
Yeah. When a cop calls a tow truck, it costs $0. It's called a friendly wrecker. That's a trick right there. Okay? That's a
So
trick
what do you
right
call
there.
a cop to?
Well, I got a friendly wrecker once, and I'm not a cop. But I called a cop who I said, listen, man, I'm stuck in the middle of nowhere. Do you know if somebody can break into my car? I locked my keys in my car at a gas station in Houston. He goes, oh, it's cool. I'll call a friendly wrecker. And I said, I had no idea what it was. And this wrecker turns up in like instantly, like we're still on the phone, and the fucking wrecker turns up. And I'm like, how the hell did that happen so fast? Huh. And he goes, how you doing, officer? He gets out of the car, and I'm like, great, citizen. I'm doing fantastic. Yeah, here's my car over here. I'm impersonating a police officer to get a free lockout from a wrecker. Then 2 more cops turn up. I'd met one of them before, and she couldn't figure out where she'd met me from. And I'm trying not to do an Australian accent, but I knew her from nightclubs because I was running nightclubs at the time. And she's like, how are you doing, officer? And I said, where are you from? I said, Northwest Precinct. I'm just talking out of my ass now, just trying to get in my car and get out of a gas station before I get in trouble for getting a free friendly wrecker.
Digitally do.
pulled it
Can you do an American accent?
Well, my American accent's a little bit more like a Texan accent.
Okay. Okay.
It's
I
not
get it.
bad. I'm working on it. It's
Yeah.
got a little bit down home Texas.
Got it. I
You
hear
taught
that.
me the.
Is it any
Australian
good?
accent.
Is it any good? Because I'm going to do it on stage in Australia next
It
week.
could be a little bit slower. I would want to hear you say a whole sentence because I do hear that it's like a mixture of both. Like it goes.
Well,
in
you want
and out.
me to slow it right down. So see what I'm fixing to do for Thanksgiving
There you go.
is I'm going to fix to go get out of a friendly wrecker.
Yeah.
No, you fixing.
I'm fixing
Fixing.
fixing to get some shit done.
All right, I can buy that.
Yeah, I got to slow it right down. I'm cowboy. That's the only American accent I've got is a cowboy.
Got it.
Everybody
Totally
thinks I'm
bad.
from. Everybody thinks I'm a Southie. Everybody thinks I'm from South Boston because I'm parking my car in the garage, mate.
Yeah, you taught
I can
me.
hear. I can hear a little
Yeah.
bit of that.
Yeah.
You
Can you
taught
do,
me
like, Jersey?
good day, mate. Was
Oh, g'day, mate's. Yeah,
G'day, mate.
Yeah, g'day, mate's easy. I can teach you to
G'day,
say g'day,
mate.
mate, both
Yeah.
right both now. It's g'day, mate's easy. It's basically 3 words in your own accent, not trying to sound like mine. Okay. Good, I, and might, as in you might get out of bed tomorrow. So put them all together.
Good eye, mate.
Good eye, mate.
Now put them down. Don't try and sound Australian. Just say them in your
Good eye,
accent.
mate.
G'day, mate.
Mate.
Good eye, mate.
Say them fast. Yeah, close.
Good eye, mate.
Closer than anybody. Closer than you'll ever get trying to do it the other way. Trust me.
Right.
But it works. It's my hacky bit I use to close shows. You want to try dunking on someone at a comedy show? That's the way to do it. Is just do that. And I did that on one of my first shows ever, and I did the "G'day, mate" to get out. And there was 3 other comics following me, and I had the whole crowd going, "G'day, mate," on the way out. And I'm like, they're like, "You hacky piece of shit." And I'm like, "Yeah, well, follow that."
Well, I think you guys helped the cop out with his first stand-up appearance.
Well, kinda.
Kind of, a little bit.
At the end, it depends. You got to have. Here's the thing. I'd want something back. And
Well,
that's
you
the
gave
thing.
him some good advice about the...
Well, Willie gave him good advice.
Yeah.
I didn't give him any good advice. I told him to wear proper shoes, but I'm not going to tell him that till after he bombs first. I'm going to make sure he feels the pain before he comes. He's like, rightio, now I'm going to leverage this shit. Now I want to get out of some stuff. You want to go back, because you'll catch the bug. I mean, when you first bomb, you're either going to quit forever or you're like, you know what, I want to do this and make it better.
Some people do it for 10 years.
For
Facts.
10 years.
Facts. Someone's about to bomb tonight.
Now it's going to be me as payback.
No,
For
it's
being
not.
mean.
That's some wood. You're not going to bomb.
Oh, yeah. So, speaking of which, the last segment of the show, on the actual show, Question Everything, we do something called Questioning Your Self-Worth, where it basically is you could talk about anything you want for the last 30 seconds or just tell us where you're going to be, or just plug your socials. So I guess I'll start with you if you have anything, Kiki.
You got me questioning my self-worth? What did I go to therapy for?
Or if there's anything you want to talk about at all, you don't have to talk about yourself.
That's
you could
so
talk about...
funny.
I want to talk about my
Cardinals.
ancestral trauma. Let's start there.
Yeah.
No, my socials are It's Kiki Andersen. That's SEN. Don't get it twisted. And my what? What are my shows? I got a show in Pasadena tonight. You guys will miss it by the time this airs.
This airs December 12th, so anything after that.
December 12th. Let me look at my calendar. I think I'm headed to San Diego sometime over there. If not, I'll see you guys in the new year. You know what? Just follow me on Instagram. I got stuff there.
Yeah. Same here. Willie Macc on everything. I got dates I got a lot of dates. So just look me up because y'all not gonna remember them if I tell you. So just follow me, WILLIEMACC, and you'll see the flyers. You'll see the podcast with me and my son, me and my boy Danny, and everything else I'm doing. So keep an eye out.
All right. Dan?
You can get me at Dan Green Comedy, and I'll be at the Hotel West End in Brisbane, Australia on 15th of December.
Hey.
Yeah, December and January. Watch out, Australia. I'm coming, and I'm doing a whole bunch of stuff around the Brisbane and Gold Coast area.
So fun.
So that's where I'm going to be.
Oh,
Get to
that's
go home for
amazing.
the first time in 8 years. I can't wait. And I'm going to
First time in 8 years?
Yeah, you think my accent's thick now? Wait till I get back and recharge it and bring it back, and I'm going to have to learn how to talk again because I sound posh and dignified the way I talk right now. I've got to speed it up for Australian audiences.
We've been dumbing you down too much.
Put it this way, mate. When I first came out to America, the first 6 months I was here, everything I said, people just laughed at it. And you realise after a while you're not that funny. And no one can understand what you're saying because you talk too damn fast.
Yeah.
So Americans, you do have to talk slower for. Kind of works that way.
They did that to me. I'm from the South, so instead of hair, I would say her. Instead of over
that's St.
there,
Louis,
I'd be
that's
like,
not the
hey,
South.
what's over there? Like there, and just like I used to talk like this a lot back in my first days when I first moved out here.
Oh, yeah.
That's how I was talking, and they was like, Willie, you got to speed that up and get rid of all those.
You got to get rid of all of that
Yeah.
and just try again.
I was over her, and then I saw her over her.
Whose her is over her?
Oh, yeah. Well, I'd like to thank you guys for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And you can follow us at Question Everything Show to stay up to date, behind the scene footage, and more. So see you next time when we question everything.
Cheers.
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 Mate.
Mike.
Mike.
Mate.
Mike. Mike. Mike.